Aditya Digital Network presents episode number 167 on the 10th of February 2020.
Saurabh and you're listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya.
It was a mixed bag as far as the championships and the matches in the last 48 hours went. Despite Ravindra Jadeja's brilliant effort, New Zealand got over the line, winning the second one-day match and consequently the series 2-0. New Zealand batting first had made 270 runs with efforts by Ross Taylor and a cameo by the debutant Kyle Jamieson, and though he scored only 25 runs in comparison to Jadeja's 55 runs, despite a dramatic collapse by New Zealand's middle order where the likes of World Cup final hero James Neesham, all-rounder Colin the Grandhomme, captain Tom Latham and the rest could not contribute even 10 runs to the entire team's total, and despite all that, New Zealand crossed the line. And then came the debate, were India missing Rohit Sharma in this chase? Because Virat Kohli couldn't get the runs, Prithvi Shaw looked in a hurry, Shreyas Iyer, despite his brilliant 52, was chastised by everybody because he couldn't take the team over the line, couldn't be there till the last moment. Rahul also attempted a shot which would have been possible a few overs later, but the question is, did they miss Rohit Sharma in the context of the match? According to me, they did not miss Rohit Sharma. Yes, Rohit Sharma has been a brilliant batter over the last 13 years for India and 7 years since he started opening, but India have to move on from the likes of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, and it's time to give chances and opportunities to the future. That includes the likes of Prithvi Shaw, Shubman Gill. So whatever be the result of this match, it's clear that it's time to move on from Rohit Sharma. It's clear cut that Sharma has reached an age 32 and a half. Even though age is not a criteria, the 2023 World Cup could be his last. Looking at how the team management plans their future championships for them, the 20-over World Cup is crucial, and then they will focus on the 2023 World Cup. Let's talk about another individual who worked hard and for the second time in 6 months almost took his team over the line. It was Jadeja who had taken the team close in the World Cup semi-final, and once again when there was a middle order stumble, he once again combined with, this time with Navdeep Saini, to take the team close. Yes, he couldn't finish the match, and the questions will arise, should he have accelerated earlier? These are abstract questions and situations. Only thing they could have done was instituted Manish Pandey instead of Kedar Jadhav, since they are not giving Jadhav an opportunity to bowl. And what should be the changes for the next match? Don't be surprised if Virat Kohli is suspended for slow over it. Though according to me, being 2 overs behind time does not constitute slow over it. The time when the match starts itself is a question. Why in the world is a match starting at 3 p.m. local time in New Zealand? The most logical answer is so that Indian viewers can wake up at 7:30 to watch the match and not 6:30. But then that's been decided. The match starts at 3 p.m. local time, so one cannot argue about that. But now the question is, do abstract and trivial things like overrate matter in comparison to football and hockey? In cricket, it's clear that the umpires don't have much authority on the field, because after every couple of overs, despite having a designated drinks break, the players call for accessories like water, glove, they pretend to be injured, and that is where the time is lost. And such an attitude is quite perplexing, especially on the part of the umpires and the match referee. And one more thing the ICC needs to look at is the definition of a wide. There is no consistency when the umpires call out for a wide. In one innings, the same bouncer is given one for the over, but if in the second innings the same bouncer is often called a wide. It seems that the International Cricket Council and the law-making part of this council have left the definition of a wide to the whims and fancies of the umpire. Even the ones down the leg side cannot be constituted as a wide unless it is a wide. And if it's a wide, one cannot say that it's a wavered delivery. But then not only the standard of umpiring but the quality of commentators has gone down to such an extent that it's difficult to find good commentators nowadays. Over the last 7 to 8 years, all that the commentators discuss is things like catch, drops, misfielding, as if these very commentators never dropped a catch in their storied life, or never misfielded a ball. Their entire commentary is quite paradoxical. The way they say he should have taken a catch, there should have been no misfielding. We expect not superhuman but robotic performances from the players. The abstract toss becomes such an important entity as far as the match is concerned. That's where the difference lies in the quality of commentators. I don't want to go into this rhetoric of the good old days, but as far as commentary is concerned, in fact, it's difficult to call what these experts constitute themselves as commentators. That's not even 5% commentary. As we all know, majority of the commentators are players who never got a chance to play for more than 2 to 3 years. They were replaced by far more competent players. So when these individuals who think they deserve to play for at least 10 years, when they get an opportunity to be commentators, they take out their frustration by talking about abstract things as catch, dropped, or what should be the strategy of the batting or the bowling team. Trivial issues like misfielding, tosses, pitch conditions, or the fact that the international level is not a stage where a player learns they have to be perfect by the time they come into the national side. If that's the case, then no team in the world would lose. Coming back to this particular match, it was one of those days when New Zealand got the luck. You know why teams win the toss and bowl first in the contemporary times? Because these pseudo experts have created this environment that you win the toss, you field first, and then take advantage of mitigating factors like dew, small grounds, the pitch. There comes the obsession with the statistics. Statistically, historically, an XYZ ground is a chasing ground. Everybody involved, the passive, the active stakeholders, excluding the players, repeatedly talk about such factors that the players are influenced by it, even if they have a different opinion. Continuing with analyzing this match, for me, and though most of my listeners would not agree with this, for me, Ravindra Jadeja, irrespective of the fact that he is a spinning all-rounder or a fast bowling all-rounder, he joins a list of all-rounders such as Gary Sobers, Jack Scalise, Ian Botham, Ben Stokes and the others. For me, he has surpassed Kapil Dev as the best all-rounder in the country. With due respect to the likes of Vijay Shankar, Shivam Dubey and Hardik Pandya, out of which Shankar and Pandya are still injured and Dubey is still young in this team. I have said it. Jadeja has surpassed Kapil Dev as the top all-rounder irrespective of the times Jadeja plays in and when Kapil Dev played. Why are we hesitant to acknowledge the current crop of all-rounders such as Andile Fekluvayo from South Africa, Tom Curran, Sam Curran, Ben Stokes, Chris Wokes from England, Mitchell Marsh, Marcus Stoinis, Glenn Maxwell, Ashton Agar from Australia, and other teams. Now I want my listeners to name the top all-rounders from teams like West Indies, Sri Lanka, and the rest of the teams. This habit of being fixated and crazy about the likes of Ponting, Tendulkar has to end. We have to move on from these individuals. By reiterating the term modern day cricket, we are insulting the efforts of the current crop of players. Why is that happening? Because when the likes of Tendulkar, Ponting and their contemporary played, we had the best cricket commentators in Tony, Greg, Jeffrey, Boycott, Richie, Beno, Ravi, Shastri. Not once did these individuals ever talk about factors such as small grounds, dew, pitch impact, conditions impact. They had the maturity and the wherewithal to talk about the match and the players and not about such external abstract factors. Not once was a dropped catch or a misfielding made a felony by these commentators. Not as if dropped catches and misfieldings never happened in the past. They have happened. That is human nature. You may take a great catch, you may drop the next, but it never became an issue. In fact, the broadcasters are also partially at fault with this. The replay of such moments can be disheartening for the players. Then when the graphics come, X player dropped by Y player on 0 and that they keep repeating this footage. Also the lack of the coherent words that are missing in the conversations by the current crop of commentators. That is why a Ross Taylor's 73 is praised while a Shreyas Iyer's 50 runs is still criticized because he did not take the team through. But then that's the nature of this sport, is it not? What is even more distressing is that the players who have played for a long period of time, who have been there, gone through everything, that is good performances, bad performances, their conversations at least should be different from the players who have not even played for a year. And then these go on to become commentators. It's as if being called legend has gone into their heads and they feel they can talk about any player as they want because nobody will censor them. Here the question is not about censoring but about empathy. That clearly shows a lack of training as far as the field of commentary and broadcasting is concerned. In short, the maturity levels and the empathy levels of the current crop of commentators is -1. What a memorable weekend it was for Indian hockey. On the 8th of February, we beat the world champions Belgium by a margin of 2-1, which is a huge achievement for an Indian team which does not get its due respect. As I reiterated before, this current crop of hockey players is one of the best groups to ever stand foot on the hockey tough. They had their share of disappointments with respect to the 2018 World Cup and 2016 Olympics. This current crop is aggressive, they are smart. Over the last 1 year, they have played a brand of hockey which has never been seen before. And once upon a time, when they were being chastised for poor defense of penalty corners, the performances by the two goalkeepers in Krishna Pathak and PR Srijesh surpasses any performance by any hockey goalkeeper before. Once again, the question is this the best hockey team to step foot? Yes, they are. But is the World Championship and a hockey medal the way to describe their greatness? No. Even if later in the year at the Olympics, this team gets a bronze or a silver medal, my respect for them will rise 10 notches. The best part about this is that with the focus on the Junior World Cup and the other sports like badminton and Olympics, this particular tournament is flying below the radar and it's a win-win situation for all the stakeholders involved, from the broadcasters to the coaching staff and the players themselves. With only a 10% focus on these players, they were able to beat the world champions Belgium. And yes, while they lost in the second match by a margin of 3-2. And this is where human nature is at its worst. We beat them 2-1 in the first match. They were appreciated. They were given all kinds of accolade. But in the second match, despite a great effort, they lost by a margin of 3-2. Once again, they will be criticized. But this was their first loss in 3 matches, and this match, the second match, where they lost by a margin of 3-2, was as close as it could get. Still kept the series alive at 1-1. And as a famous wrestler says, Australia, you are next. In fact, forget Netherlands, forget Belgium. If the team manages to hold on to Australia and beat them, yes, if they beat Australia in the next couple of matches, which will be broadcasted soon. I repeat, if India holds on to Australia, in fact, they go one step further and beat Australia, then the attitude of the passive stakeholders, that is the viewers and the media, will change dramatically. Because while Belgium may be the world champions, Australia is the team to beat as far as the sport of contemporary hockey is concerned. Can this bunch of men and boys beat a team like Australia? They definitely have the chutzpah to beat a team like Australia. And in hockey, if a team wants to beat Australia, then they have to be on the attack all the time. Don't concede penalty corners, but in penalty corners is one of those things which cannot be avoided. If the ball touches the stick or the foot of the player, it's a thing that happens in the momentum of the game. I have never seen a hockey match which does not concede a penalty corner by either of the teams. While the result of the penalty corners may vary from team to team depending on the plan for their defense, penalty corners are a reality and one has to accept it. And while Belgium could make a comeback and square the 2 matches against India after losing the first one, hypothetically, let's presume India loses the first of the 2 matches. But the best part is that the 2 matches are in 2 consecutive days. So why can't India make a comeback and make sure that they square the series? Keep the points table of this tournament alive. Remember, India is on the 2nd place while Australia is on the 3rd or the 4th place in the points table. And the way this tournament is scheduled, it allows a breathing space for the players and the organizers. Yes, beat Australia and get your name on the honors board. It was a mixed tournament for all the sport, including the Indian women's cricket team. On one hand, they struggled to get to 120 against England in a match. This tournament is the pre-World Cup Championship, a good way to assess where the women's cricket team is just as the World Cup approaches. On one hand, they struggled to defend 120 against England. On the other hand, in the next match, immediately the next day, they chased a total of 180 against Australia. It would seem 180 is not a huge total. Maybe for the men's team, 180 is nothing. But for the women's team, 180 is like 220. Look